Coverage coming out here today. I've been at it since 6 a.m., so bear with me if I slurring my words a little bit. I am pretty sleep deprived at this point, but I'm going to do my best to bring the coverage to you the best I can. Um, Things to look out for this game. They have a very strong player on A9, whatever. He plays, I think it changed his name to Fatty Throw, but a very strong Solstice. So we'll see if Complexity did any type of scouting into the strategies and incorporate that into their bands. But without further ado, Dreamhack Summer 2015 Finals is underway. Losers bracket. So the first band coming out by way is on the War Beast. No surprise there. It's a very strong hero, and in hands of what you got, a very devastating hero. So they're gonna automatically ban him. Parasite coming out here as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we just see nothing but jungle bans. A Legionnaire and Ophelia following up here. They do take out the Pebbles. Honestly, I don't know what this guy's deal is with the bans because the first series he consistently banned Pebbles and Gauntlet. Pebbles and Gauntlet. These are great heroes, but in the NAU meta, you all know that they're not ban worthy. There's just too many other threats out there that need to be addressed. And if they don't first pick Moira, you can almost guarantee that what you got is going to steal the hero. Unless he's fairly confident that they don't want it, he may wait a little bit. But yeah, so they're going to go on and pick up Midas here instead. I think they're assuming that World Elite has no desire to pick Moira, so they'll pick it whenever they want, and I guarantee you they will pick it. There's no better support currently in the game. So they're going to grab Pharaoh here, though, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. If you're watching the Honcast coverage, you also would note that Insania gave a shout out to Ophelia, saying that she is the most powerful hero in the meta currently. So maybe taking a pointer from them, they're going to head and draft Ophelia. And there's the Solstice pick that we talked about. This is going to be very underwhelming for you guys because 90% of the games we see this guy struggling under 200 GPM in a passive jungle role. That's not because of roaming. That's just because of his playstyle, and I really don't understand what they're gonna keep focusing on the Solstice. But yeah, be warned, it is actually an online server, but um, they'll have relatively the same ping. Look at the ping difference between Baba Ganoush's seat and on Formless. He's sitting farther away from the router, I guess. Very interesting. So taking a lot of time here is what you got, deciding on what to draft last. They still need a support, and I think they're wondering what's going to come out for the bans. If they don't get Moira here, then I'm going to quit on. That's what I quit on. The Magnus pick, while it's a valuable hero, and they take it out of the hands of World Elite, I just don't see it as being that valid. I don't know if they would have banned it. But we'll have to wait and see what comes out here. Wade's going to go ahead and ban out the Tremble. He may have seen a game or two by Formless and knows that is one of the heroes that he plays, as well as Oogie. So I'd say it's safe to say they've probably done a little bit of their research. But these look very similar bans that they used against Druids. What you got's going to take out Prisoner 945, the Dark Lady, and I can't remember who these guys carried with earlier today. I think it was, I want to say Swiftblade, maybe one of the games, and yeah, and Bushwhack the other game. So, I mean, they may pick Bushwhack again. It seems like it's their go-to strategy, but I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this one off against Complexity Gaming, who, like I said, Complexity, this is the last chance. Either of these teams lose now, they're out of the series. They lose the best of three, they're going to be out of the series, and they won't be able to compete any further. So, yeah, picking screen. Right, here we go. Of course, the two teams now, I just realized that they switched sides, so I'm going to have to go in and edit my overlays really quick. I might as well do that now. So we're going to miss a little bit of commentary on the picking stages, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. World Elite. And yeah, we're just going to ignore that for now. We don't need it up here. You know, it's 0-0. I don't even know which games it is here. So we're going to see the Sandwraith pickup. Very interesting. We haven't seen them run that hero yet, but if they've done their research, they know the potential and how to lane him, and he has a very, very specific set of skills that he can use to make your life a living hell, including that global ultimate for the scout, ganks, assisting teammates under fire, things of that nature. As long as you can get him secured in a spot where he can gain experience, eventually the farm will find itself with assists, ganks, stuff like that. Now, a very interesting choice here is the empath pick. Are we going to see a Ravener? Or a Berserk? I feel like we're going to see a very unconventional carry hero, and there it goes. We're going to see Predator. So, the Predator Empath combo, I mean, that's a TMM God team, and I don't know if they watched the previous matchup against Druids, but Druids kind of took care of World Elite pretty handily, and I think that's what Complexity intends on doing here. That being said, Predator is a very strong hero in the middle game. If you can get farm on him early, transition in the middle game, he's a carry that'll stand up with the best of them. With an empath inside of him as well, he's going to be very hard to stop. Interestingly enough, they follow up that with a Thunderbringer, so they'll probably be laning a Suicide Pharaoh, maybe Thunderbringer mid, a dual lane bottom, and Solstice going to be obviously into the jungle. So my camera is frozen. Oh, what the deuce? Okay, I fixed it. Bring up the in-game overlay, guys. Once again, thanks for joining us here at the Mathcast. We're gonna go in ham here, and yeah, Asuka on Midas, one of his most comfortable heroes. He's getting pulled regen and apparently has duplicated his items. That must have been some kind of misclick. I gotta do the math. 175, that's 350, 400, 490, 513. Okay, so I guess he did just buy two. He's probably gonna sell one. But either way, he's getting pulled a bit of regen. We all know how strong Asuka is in that suicide role. And up against a Torturer Sandwraith, I think he's going to be doing just fine. Honestly, he has a decent amount of armor. Torturer's auto attack damage, not the biggest deal. He'll have 2.5 armor versus 5 or so on Midas, so he won't really be able to trade hits. I give that lane to Asuka just based on his play style. Middle lane, we're going to see Fuzzy. I'm guessing Fuzzy, yeah. Going to be mag mid. If he's against a Thunderbringer, that might be a little tricky for him. I think he's going to have an alright time farming and last hitting, but he'll probably have to get an early battery and just to deal with the harassment. If he's anything like he played in the first game, he's going to stack up on mana pots and just be relentlessly harassing, and they didn't really focus on creep killing, which I noticed is a consistent problem with World Elite. And that's going to leave the top lane to look at. Well, we see Empath Predator. And just Empath is going to probably be able to box out Pharaoh pretty easily. He did buy boots first, and he got pulled a nice amount of regen on top of having a ward. So if he can get that ward in the place where Baba Ganoush doesn't instantly counter it, he might have a fairly decent time bobbing and weaving in and out of the trees. He should be able to get a decent amount of experience, and if he utilizes that Tormented Soul, decent farm too, considering the strength of that lane. One thing to look out for is what you got on Ophelia. It's kind of hit or miss. I feel like he's very strong with knowing when to gank, and his micro skills are pretty good, but also at the same time, he's used to playing a more, I think, strength heroes. Like Legionnaire is his strongest jungler, and he may put himself in a bad position from time to time on a squishier hero like Ophelia. So that's the only thing I worry about. But other than that, he has on-point timing with his roaming, and his farming is very efficient. So we have that to look forward to. Addressing the chat like a stew. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Honcast is going to be doing Druids versus MRR, while I cover Complexity versus World Elite. And then after those two games are over, most likely theirs will start first. You're going to see Reason versus Sync, and I'll be covering D-Dog versus Bad Monkey Gaming. And that will end the coverage for Dreamhack for today. That's about 12 hours I've been casting. I mean, I've been casting for 6.5 right now, and I've got another possible 6 games going, as well as all these pauses left and right. So we got quite a bit of content on our hands. And tomorrow, unfortunately, there will be no more content. There's enough games. There's just enough games for Honcast to cover. So this will be it for me today. But we're going to value the time that we have here. And once again, I do appreciate everybody stopping by the stream. And if you do enjoy the cast, stick around, give me a follow, and all that jazz. Because aside from that, the going forward in the tournaments, I've been in talks with Honcast a lot. And I'm probably going to be doing a lot more coverage for them as well. So that'll allow you to get notifications to stuff. And let's get it on. Both teams are ready. Game number 1 underway. And another thing, I would like to do a quick little poll. Poll. Close. Poll. Open. Who do you think is going to take this match? Is it going to be Complexity or is it going to be we? Vote 1 or vote 2 if you feel so inclined. Oh, wait. I spelled that wrong. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this one, I'd be surprised if Complexity does not pull anything off. But this is a very unconventional draft and it could go awry. I mean, at the end of the day, I think a Sandwraith can contest a Predator, but Predator's a pretty good pick against this team. So Complexity's going to gather up in the top here. They're going to defend their jungle for what you got, and Pharaoh is going to be very in a bad spot if he does decide to run up there. And looks like he's going to fall back and just try to ward here, but he's going to get spotted out. Oh, wait a minute. So opting to run that awesome play, he faked place the ward of sight. But then he picked it back up, well in vision of Predator, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to pay off. Ultimately, he does drop it up there just so he can see what's going on. That was a pretty heads-up play. I didn't give Freddy Throw enough credit, so I was pretty impressed by that. And once again, this is the same wards that they ran last game, just giving them vision of the lane and for incoming TPs and stuff like that, so... Yeah, I do apologize for the bitrate if some of you guys can't watch it. I kind of discussed it with Honcast, and overall, ultimately they stressed that they needed to, I don't know how to put this, to feature me on the Han Tour Dreamhack portal. I needed to be casting at a certain bitrate. So I'm going at max bitrate here to good quality. Some of you guys can't get to the stream, and I don't have the option to control the cast. So I do apologize. Just know that when I cast by myself, I will lower the bitrate for viewers and just so that everybody can enjoy the content. But for today specifically, I'm kind of, my hands are tied. There's not much I can do about it. But for the people that have a good connection, it should be looking pretty snazzy for you. So Predator's going to come up here. We see what he's going to do. He's going to gain aggro of the Archer so that it doesn't attack his creeps. And then he's going to maintain strong lane positioning here. And we'll see Empath going to be harassing him. That's pretty much a given of what's going to happen over here. This is the lane I'm most interested in seeing, because Thunderbringer should take... Alright, bottom lane, Midas. Asuka manning up like I expected him to, but I don't think he expected the early rotation from Solstice. He's going to be forced out the health pot here. Now, Solstice skilling the Blinding Rush first. And if you thought his jungling potential was bad before, you haven't seen a Solstice without his passive. Asuka, at the same time, a Suicide typically gets starved a lot, and what he's doing right now is he just pretty much ruined Solstice jungle. And let's see if Sandwraith can at least maintain lane control. He doesn't. The lane's going to get pushed up here, so ultimately this is going to be a positive for Asuka. Even though he wasted a lot of regeneration, yeah, he'll take lane positioning all day. Now Pharaoh's going to eat a bit of damage here as Ophelia rotates into the lane with her first Skeleton King. And you can already see the junglers having a huge impact in this game, and I definitely think that's going to be necessary. By the way, what you got with a Ward of Rev already countering that ward there that was supposed to block the pull camp. Or the hard camp, rather. So, both teams making strides here, but ultimately I really think that stun first is going to hurt Solstice. I mean, I don't foresee him going above 150 GPM this game. He already didn't have the most ideal route. And I just wish that World Elite would just not run a jungler. I think that would be their best bet. Try to dominate lanes early game. You lose out on a little bit of gold, but this way you're going to lose out on gold and lane potential. Lane does push up all the way here. Might give a little bit of experience and gold to Pharaoh. And once again now, we had the rotations out by Torturers. Going to leave Midas in a 1 vs 1 situation with good lane positioning. And I think Asuka will take this all day. Rotation into middle lane as Magnus drops the stun off onto Thunderbringer. Ophelia is going to get credit for the kill, striking Bloodlust. A good micro with the Minotaur stun to stagger those disables, and yeah, they're going to take over there. So you can already see the gold disparity, about 1k 3 minutes into the game. Yeah. Ultimately, I don't see, though, this going to the late game. Predator is more of a mid-game carry, if you ask me, and that's likely going to be the case. Some Torturers got level 1 in Impalement. It's actually putting out a decent amount of harassment into Midas, and he's going to have to fall back as he doesn't have boots yet, using that Elemental Warp. So, Solstice, here he is roaming again. He picked up the Illusion Rune bottom. He's going to camp that Refresher top, but at the same time, only level 3, just barely approaching 150 GPM compared to Bloodlust, kind of skewed. Okay, and let's see if they take the bait here. Ooh, Mana Pot on Ophelia is going to get broken off. Oh, they do take the bait, wasting an Essence Link, and a leap onto that Solstice Illusion. So maybe a little bit of a morale boost coming out here for the Legion team. See what they can do. Pharaoh, very, very passive playstyle. Understand that he doesn't have any vision and he's afraid of the Ophelia, but you have boots. You should be all up here and trying to get a little bit more experience. Well, Midas making a habit to stack out the Ancients here. Legion side not tackling that just yet. But we do see Ophelia coming here, maybe setting up an aggressive ward. Is that what's going on here? Or Empath, rather. Yeah, Baba Ganoush definitely positioning himself to get ready for something. Okay, here comes the rotation onto Midas. Solstice getting ready to set something up. Can they get the stun off? The first stun comes off onto Midas. They stagger it. A nice stun. Back up by Solstice. Sandwraith putting in the auto attacks. Credit for the kill going to Solstice. So good rotation there. And they do set something up there. Now Baba Ganoush does put a ward of sight out here to block him up. And they're definitely going to look to set something up on Pharaoh soon. His bottle was delivered. I don't know if they had an intention of trying to steal the bottle, but it's too late for that. Oh yeah, she picks up a Veiled Rot here, and that's definitely going to be activated. They will look to dive the tower, putting this Catman champion on the front lines. This is a pretty big investment to kill the Pharaoh, which I don't even think is even necessary. But yeah, he's in trouble now. He's going to see the problems here. Activating that Hellfire. He's going to try to juke in the trees. The Empath Wall is going to lock him in place. Sandwraith ult, though, coming out with big timing. And what you got is going to drop. If Sandwraith ports up here, he may get a kill on the Empath as well. So there you go, Sandwraith timing his level 7 ultimate there with good precision, and he's able to capitalize on it. So they trade a level 4 Pharaoh for, and definitely not a fair trade. Coming out on top, I'd say World Elite, and a little bit over aggression from Complexity. Definitely don't want to come into this game cocky at all. Well, let's take a look at the GPM here in mid. Thunderbringer's at 227 and Magnus at 268. So definitely World Elite off to a much better start than they had against Druid. I will say that much. Thunderbringer's also going to be able to bottle that rune. He hasn't been denied much experience. If you look at yeah, Fuzzy Slot 26 and 5 versus a 25 and 4 Oz. So doing surprisingly well here. Considering he got ganked early on by the Ophelia as well. So what you got, still not having any boots yet. And for the amount of roaming he's doing, I definitely think that's going to be an investment that he wants to make sooner than later. Here comes middle lane as Magnus channeling the eruption, but it's going to get interrupted by the blast of lightning. Now Thunderbringer definitely needs to be careful. Magma's is going to sip that bottle, and he has a Lava Surge coming up in 2 seconds. A good job of Thunderbringer's trying to put out the amount of burst damage as he can because he knew the Lava Surge was incoming, but unfortunately he can't do anything about it. Sandwraith ultimate also down for the next 30 seconds. And worth noting, not a single point in Illuminate, so Solstice will not be contributing to that fight either. But I think the shining star for this World Elite team is the 326 GPM Sandwraith. Against Formless, he is still down a little bit. And with only 1 assist, I mean, it's just the sheer creep kills. 51 and 12 versus 32 and 9. Formless really making a habit here. Oh my god, the Feral Wall Mummy's going to trap Predator into tower range, and the Sandwraith ultimate also coming out. Newerth's Blessing is going to buy Predator a little bit more time to juke through the trees, but the damage is too much. Skilling 3 points into that Hellfire, that was an immense amount of damage, and just the Predator's unable to negate most of it with that Stonehide. And this is what I feel is the issue here. I mean, what you got, a lot of times Ophelia needs to get a lot more aggressive early. If you see a team grouping up like this, rotate in the mid, take the mid tower. Just be as annoying as possible. And not saying that he hasn't had any impact, because 2-1-0, pretty good start, but I think he needs to keep up the pressure. It's going to be very, very important for them to win the middle game and transition. So we do see a rotation mid. Lava Surge coming out onto Thunderbringer. The nice Skeleton King stun, putting out a decent amount of damage, but once again, Thunderbringer able to escape. Very slippery, and he loses a Minotaur in the process. The top lane, they're going on Predator again. The Hellfire, he does a nice leap over the Mummy Walls, but he takes the mana burn. Here comes Solstice joining the party too. And a nice rotation here by World Elite. So we have a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Complexity here. Definitely a team recovering. Oh, Sandwraith's going to get stunned into the trees, and it works to his benefit, but Asuka with the perfectly timed Elemental Warp, getting the Transmute stun off, and that's definitely an important counter kill for them to pick up. What we do see here is the workings of a D-Dog strategy. You have the global ultimates of Thunderbringer and Sandwraith, as well as the Pharaoh Rocket. And one could even say, you know, Luminescence. It's kind of like a global scouting ability. Once he gets enough levels to spare a skill point, this is very that be aware of your enemy's positioning and play it to your advantage. So very impressive so far, and it's definitely going to be a hindrance towards complexities. But if they can work to push these lanes with Ophelia's creeps, that's gonna put a damper on Legion's strategy as well. So I think that is the counterplay that they need to make. Just they need an impact from what you got. Mummy Wall's gonna come out here, attempt to try to keep them at bay, but it doesn't really work, unfortunately. Trying to pull the creeps just a little bit, but this tower is dropping extremely quick. In fact, it's going to go down. Here comes the Sandwraith ultimate, though. Will they disrupt anything? No, they decide to go on to Midas. Thunderbringer putting out a lot of damage onto Midas, but not enough to get the kill. Sandwraith diving deep, forcing out the Lava Surge. And here comes the Pharaoh ultimate. They're going to catch Magnus in a bad position. Midas trying to throw out the heal, but it's just not enough. And that's just that huge rotation. The Desert's Curse does not connect, so Midas will get away. But now they're in a decent position to take a tower of their own. Maybe they push this objective here. Since they did not decide to defend top. And looking at the hero damage coming out by Thunderbringer already this game, it's likely it's a skewed statistic because the nature of the hero is to spam lightning or chain lightning with Lightning Rod early game, and I feel like it does skew the numbers. I wish there was a way to reset hero damage, like before a fight, to really see the impact heroes have, but alas, we cannot. Ooh, what do we have here? Veiled Rot activated on the Midas. He already has Steam Boots, and he's level 7 as well as a level 9 Magnus in the area, so this is pretty much all they really need to set something up. Solstice Veiled Rot gonna get spotted out, but Torture is gonna be taking the brunt of it. Elemental Transmute stun going down, and that's a dead Torturer. Just really poor positioning on the support from the Legion side here. On the other hand, Midas taking a lot of damage, and Ophelia being the focus here. Here comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh ultimate, gonna connect him, and this... Okay, Solstice ult was being channeled, but it looks like it was interrupted. There's two fights going on right now. They're gonna focus onto the Midas here. Back in the background, though, Midas takes... yeah, he's gonna get taken out. Sandwraith escaping through here. Will he jump into Empath? It's definitely not worth the dive, he says, as he falls back. Magnus bottling up and returning to the fight. He still has an eruption ready, so... They need to watch out for this. If he gets on a high ground and is able to channel that, they could be in a lot of trouble. Here comes the leap onto Pharaoh with a double line stun onto Thunderbringer. Once again, Fuzzy Sloth must be upset. That's the second time he's interrupted that with a blast of lightning. A huge stun by Torturer clears out the rest of Ophelia's creeps. The line stun by Magnus going to put a damper on Torturer as well. He picks off the last creep, but Midas is going to try to get a counter kill here. Will he? No, he's going to play it safe. There's an invisible Solstice in the area, so it probably would have been a very risky play anyways, but once again, a fairly even exchange, and it's a 1,500 gold or experience lead. Wow, I need to slow down. This game is getting too intense too fast. 1,500 experience lead in favor of World Elite, and an 800 gold lead in favor of Complexity, which is practically nothing, but as far as the laning phase went, you would expect Complexity to have a much better lead than they do, but they're actually, you know, down 2 hero kills, and this might go as far as coming into this matchup a little bit cocky. Druids probably came up with Complexity. Oh, these guys are pushovers. Just pick a funny strat, troll them up, and Complexity, you know, might end up paying for that risky pick. As well as, I mean, Moira went unbanned. I don't understand the Empath pick over Moira, because at this point, you're going to need to interrupt the Solstice ult, and this guy is good at landing Solstice ults. It got interrupted last game, but it's only a matter of time. I've seen him participate in the last 2 matches, and he finds a way. So, to take a look at what's going on here, Sandwraith's returning to the bottom lane. He's actually a Fleet Feet, so, I mean, is he building a Nullfire Blade? Whoa, no. Okay, what am I thinking? It takes a intelligence item. So, he's likely going to be building straight into a Geometer's Bane, or at least the Firebrand portion, because he's stacking the agility. And it looks like his idea is going to be to chase down heroes. I like the synergy of the Solstice ult and the Wrath of the Pharaoh. This Pharaoh's had some pretty big ultimates this game already, so you know, good counter initiations in that sense. And this ward feels like it was good for that one team fight, but once again, very minimal vision coming out for Complexity Gaming. And this one ward up here, and that's pretty much all they have. You can see World Elite posting up in the bottom lane, getting ready to set something up, but they must have been spotted. Midas and Magnus avoiding that bottom lane. They're going to tag team over here onto the Ancient, so that double damage rune. BMG played very well today. It's just the reason he played. Here comes the Lava Surge Sun onto Pharaoh, but at what cost? There is 3 heroes in the area collapsing onto Magnus. Wrath of the Pharaoh used Nua's Blessing, going to keep Magnus alive for just a few seconds more, but no, ultimately he will fall at the cost of Pharaoh's life. Desert's Curse still off cooldown, so yeah, Sandwraith's going to be able to escape here without a hitch, and they end up trading a 1-for-1 exchange. And at this point, that's got to go once again in the favor of the Legion side. They blow not even many cooldowns. The Sandwraith ultimate not even needed to be used, and Fuzzy Sloth now further delaying the portal key. Portal key on Magnus is going to be crucial, as well as Midas. Those are the core initiators on their team. So it's very interesting that they would dive for that kill there so desperately. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. They did win the World Finals after changing to BMG, but the recent change between Make and Krake, so... slightly affected the teams, but either way, they made it to Dreamhack. They're still a strong team. But I mean, I just don't see Recent Gaming throwing it away to anybody if they're at the top of their game right now. That the finals Group A winners bracket is going to be one hell of a matchup today. Midas taking off huge damage, and he's got to be careful. He's getting low, and the Sandwraith ultimate and the Thunderbringer ultimate both off cooldown. They could have easily killed the Midas here if they chose to do so, but obviously saving it for a better moment. Solstice is going to get spotted out by what you got. Minotaurs follow up with the Magma Stun. He's channeling the Eruption, but once again, Fuzzy Sloth gets shut down. Denied, man. You better wait till that portal key or stop trying to channel your ult as if these guys are bad. I think you can clearly see that Fuzzy Sloth's underestimating this team. And World Elite's going to trade off a tower as 4 people rotate bottom. World Elite's going to split push and take 2 towers. Looks like this one may be getting denied. Ooh, Desert Crits connects on the 2 heroes, forcing Empath to jump into the Midas. They're going to get the tower after all. Hellborn team's going to TP in here, but it's a little bit late. They also force out the Ophelia heal. Here comes the Sandwraith ult scouting out. Where will he ultimately decide to go? It is onto Ophelia bottom lane, so definitely not committing to anything here, but it's enough to scare off Complexity. Oh, and here comes another Wrath of the Pharaoh on a mid lane. A nice double stun by Magnus, and Predator's about to do work, but Solstice in the background charging onto the Magnus. He's gone way too deep. Will he go and man up here? He's got not much support coming off from his team, but they picked off Midas and Empath once again at the cost of only a Torturer. World Elite showing that they do deserve to be here in this Dreamhack event. I mean, Complexity Gaming is not a team to sneeze at, and while they didn't have the best performance earlier today, they are still a strong team, and so I think underestimating your opponent, we all learned from the World Finals what that can actually do, so... You could say Sync got the 2 times harder bracket, but everybody in Group A has the same bracket. It's not any harder for Sync than it is for D-Dog, Reason, or MRR. So, that being said, we're going to return here. Predator finishing up. Okay, what's also going to take the Ancients here. Let's go over the items we see here. Astrolabe picked up on Ophelia. Makes a lot of sense for the hero. It just synergizes well with the pushing capabilities and the global synergy of Synergy. Just a lot of heal and able to maintain the team fights. Empath, not much besides Striders. So Warpclef picked up on the Formless. Beaverbanger is likely going to be going a Thunderclaw. I don't see him holding out for a Demonic Breastplate, so he's likely going to grab a Thunderclaw to increase his farming capabilities. But Eevee's doing 400 GPM without it. I really don't feel like it's necessary. I'm a big fan of the Elder Parasite, personally, on the hero. But here comes the Lava Surge Stun on to Solstice. Ophelia is getting ready to set up her creep chain stun. But here comes a nice Pharaoh Rocket. And the Thunderbringer's a nice pick to counter the Ophelia, honestly. Okay, here comes the Lava Surge being channeled. PK only connects onto 2 heroes, Pharaoh and Solstice. With that Blade Mail Barbed Armor active, Sandwraith is going to TP in. They instantly melt the Midas, and now they're going to be chasing off another hero. Magnus falls in the background. Here comes Pred setting up to turn the fight. Solstice channeling it all. This is your end. Nobody gets connected with it. Unfortunately, a nice sidestep there by Predator, but no, they're going to turn now. Pred, though, manning up with that passive, just doing so much damage. In the end, he will fall, and it's Torturer's Sandwraith versus an Empath. She cannot do much in this event. What you got trying to support from the background, but he couldn't, and I'm not even sure if he was in a position to get a good Astrolabe off, because there's no way that Legion team really should have came away on top with that fight. So pushing forward here, she's gonna send the creeps home and fall back. But once again, a fairly even exchange. I mean, Predator did do a lot of work in that fight, and they're gonna have to deal with it, but you see how they're choosing to deal with it. A barbed armor on Solstice and Pharaoh. It's almost like they're going for reflected damage. I mean, if Sandwraith tanks up, he's building a Mach, he's got Dissipate. There is a lot of damage reflection coming off of them from this Legion team, and it's an interesting strategy. I mean, it does negate a bit of Predator's, lifesteal, because the more he hits, the harder he hits, the more he's going to hurt himself. But ultimately, it's not going to be the be-all, end-all counter Predator will prevail through that by having a larger HP base. So I don't know. We'll have to see ultimately. He's picked up a Mighty Blade onto Solstice. Um, maybe a Shrunken Head in the works. Wouldn't be too bad idea against Magnus and Midas. Now that Magnus has his portal key, probably going to see a lot more powerful eruptions like we just did there. Midas posting up down here in the bottom lane. Looks like Asuka's just going to try to push and farm and TP out, but he does need to be careful as there's a lot of heroes in the area. So I'm not a fan of the Thunderclaw build on a Predator. The magic damage is just pretty insubstantial compared to like an Elder Parasite with that extra life leech and stuff like that. But we'll see. It probably is just a transitionary item. Midas gotta be careful. Okay, he is gonna TP out. I was a little worried for you there, Asuka. No need to be that far out, or even why warp? Why warp before the TP? It's just kind of like putting yourself at risk. Hidden confetti. Look at that Easter egg. Alright, we're going to move up here. Solstice. They're going to be pushing the lane here, and it's really unconventional of complexity what they're doing. They're kind of grouped up. A lot of times you'll see them just splitting up all over the map and taking all the farm they can, preparing for the later stages of the game, but maybe feeling a little bit nervous, and this isn't the strategy they like to run. This is more of like a sync lineup. I mean, we've seen Sync run this exact lineup, but instead of Predator, Berserker. So, trying some type of early game thing, but I don't think they're very comfortable with it. I think at the end of the day they can execute it. They have what it takes. They have the skills, but a little confused it seems on what the core primary objective is. See right there, they attempted Kongor, realizing that it was taking way too long. They didn't want to dedicate those kind of resources. Here comes Solstice, setting up a stun onto Midas. A good timed elemental transmute, though. Sandwraith's TPing in, though. Realizing that she's all alone, the TPs are coming in. Newerth's blessing it up by time. They ultimately will kill Sandwraith now. You gotta watch out. Here comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh, perhaps. Is gonna connect onto Empath. They lock her down before she can get her ultimate off. A Solstice ult's gonna connect and disrupt Predator just a little bit, but it's enough for Sandwraith to die. Predator going all in on that Sandwraith while the rest of his team was dead. There was a buyback used by Asuka, so he's going to TP right back into the fight, and they didn't expect that. The Transmute Stun connecting only onto Solstice, and once again, they are going to clear out all of Ophelia's creeps. And that's got to be annoying for what you got, knowing that the jungle should be opened up for Predator to farm, and if Ophelia has to consistently steal creeps from it, that's going to slow him down. I mean, you wouldn't notice by looking at it, but he's already at 400 GPM, but World Elite strategy is working right now. They're out farming this Predator with these global strategies. They're going to destroy the tower, prevent any attempted denies, and fall right back. Yeah, make sure you guys, if you're multi-twitching between Honcasts, keep me updated on the Druids matchup for sure, because I would love to see what happens in that game. They're going to rotate bottom and get the deny here, but again, 5,000 gold and 6,400 experience lead. I don't think anybody expected this. I'm gonna close the poll before people change their votes, but just looking at it, 32 votes for complexity, 2 votes for World Elite. All right, I want to know who are the 2 guys that voted for World Elite, because I feel like there's some Pete Rose business going on here. Oh my god, a Wrath of the Pharaoh initiated onto Midas. He's going to put down the Mummy Wall, but that was very bad timing. No, Sandwraith's going to ult in 2 here. Will he actually collapse on them is the question. Once again, they're going to collapse onto Midas. Oh, but it's just not enough to get the job done. And they're going to have to pick up Null Stones. It's going to be... Oh, here comes the Pharaoh rocket. It's going to connect. And it lands and hits Midas, knocking him down to 40 HP. Almost a double tap. Just really like heads-up plays by these guys who did not perform like this in the previous event, but their team synergy is incredible right now. I am extremely impressed. They got the Mock of Brilliance out on the Sandwraith. Okay, this is going to interrupt the portal key initiations. Not to mention, just put a lot of decent damage out onto heroes like Ophelia and her creeps and Empath. So the itemization is pretty good. The Barbed Armors, as questionable as they were, they're working thus far, and now he's transitioned into a Brutalizer. Pharaoh's probably sitting on some new item coming here in the near future, and their support picks up a Void Talisman, so if Predator tries to focus him, he's going to be all set. it seems like they have a very strategic plan in mind for this game. So Predator is going to initiate here onto the Solstice, activating that barbed armor. Though you can see it's going to scare off Predator just a little bit. Wrath of the Pharaoh missing for the first time this game, but here comes the Sandwraith ultimate. It's going to interrupt the PK on Midas, and they're going to trap Empath. She actually does get it off. Here comes the Solstice ultimate. It's going to connect. Ophelia's going to drop here, as well as Predator in the background. The Lava Surge eruption connecting onto Torture, and activating that Void Talisman. He's going to stride dirty right on out of there. He's not going to have any problem whatsoever. And this is yet another fight. Luminescent's going to spot out Magnus. A nice follow-up stun by Torturer. And it's huge. These plays by World Elite are massive right now. I am in awe at what we're seeing here. And because of the first game, I mean, it looked like these guys had nothing to offer. And this is just a completely different team we're seeing here. Midas going to throw out here. He did not. He has one buyback left, but look at him diving into tier 3. They force out the Elemental Warp, and he has to fall back. And they force out a buyback on Midas. I mean, on Magnus. If they're smart, they'll let Thunderbringer die and just get away here. Oh, they're going to die. This is so unnecessary. They're going to turn it around, though. The Wrath of the Pharaoh comes out. The Solstice Bulwark Blade Mail doing work, so they get a counter kill onto Midas. And so they end up trading, though, 2 for 1. It was completely unnecessary. Absolutely, but I can't complain about the Solstice. He's not the most... the player himself, he's not the most efficient jungler, but what he lacks in that, he definitely makes up for in strong rotations and good team fight. If you saw what I seen last game, I knew they had the potential to execute team fights, but I thought the laning phase was so weak that they didn't stand a chance against a strong team like Complexity, but it's like Complexity fell into the bait. Okay, here we go. Pharaoh's going to get spotted out with a very proper Word of Revelation by Baba Ganoush, so extremely heads-up play there. And these are the type of pickoffs that are going to get Complexity back into this game. So that's a pretty good start for them. At the same time, Sandwraith's working on his own... I don't know what it's going to be. He could finish the Frostburn off, or he could go for a Shrunken Head. Not entirely sure what the case is going to be. Let's see, Hellborn thinks they can take Kongor now, but at this point there are still 2 global ultimates for them to worry about. Maybe with Pharaoh down for 30 seconds, I don't got to worry about the rocket spam. Yeah. Krazzers, you could be disappointed from Complexity, but you should still be impressed by World Elites. I mean, they are playing extremely well here. And here comes another Sandwraith ultimate and a global ultimate from the Thunderbringer. Gonna just dish out the damage. Where did Sandwraith ultimately go to? Not committing to anything. Looks like they put their sights on Magnus, but they were unable to connect. But at least they interrupt the Kongor. And now Pharaoh has just respawned. He's going to make his way back here. Torture. Okay, here comes the Solstice ultimate. Ultimately connects onto Empath. She's going to need to jump into somebody quick. Newer's Blessing activated. A nice transmute stun, but she dies before she can get into the person. Once again, her ultimate was on cooldown. Here comes a huge Magnus ultimate by Fuzzy Sloth. It's going to take out the entire Legion side team. And it just seems like it took Pharaoh a little bit too long to get here. Magnus very low. He's going to die to that rocket there. So, ultimately, I think that the problem was that Pharaoh just wasn't in that team fight, because you could see how low everybody is, but the tides are definitely turning here. Complexity Gaming, known for their ability to come back from deficits, definitely trying to do so in this, and it's not exactly over by any means, especially with the last few team fights turning around here. So Predator finishing that Frostburn. Still no Elder Parasite here, and I don't see the reason behind not getting it on this hero. He was made for it with that Stonehide ability. Either way, Formless going to figure out what he's going to do. Astrolabe being built by Baba Ganoush. I guess apparently he's felt like he's got enough gold as of late where he can pick that item up. It's definitely going to be important. Affecting not so much Magnus, but Predator, the base damage on the creeps, and the lifesteal altogether. Just a really good item for team fighting. So a barrier idol now completed onto Pharaoh. I guess that buys them a little bit more time. It's kind of counterproductive to the barbed armor build, honestly. I don't feel like they synergize well, but ultimately it is going to benefit his team, prevent a lot of the damage coming out between Midas and Magnus. Even those little Thunderclaw, even the Thunderclaw procs, a lot of that damage is spread around in the team fight that you don't notice. It's going to be negated. And if we look at the hero damage, yeah, it's mostly Magnus getting those huge Lava Surge eruptions off in the middle of the team fight. Here goes Sandwraith going to, and look at Team World Elite pressing the issue. Going to go ahead and steal. Was either a double or a triple stack Ancients? Either way, definitely not something Complexity is used to doing, giving up their well-earned and deserved map resources. So, and at the meantime, they get aggressive wards up here, so they're gonna have sight going into this fight. Just if they decide to push into the tier 2 tower, which they don't. I almost feel like that's probably a wasted ward now because it's likely going to get countered out, but if not, it doesn't. So Fuzzy Sloth activating a Veiled Rot. I think this is going to be pretty important for them to get back in the game, making very nice pickoffs like this. Predator as well, so here comes the leap. Ooh, yeah, maybe not on a Torture wouldn't be the best target anyways. They are definitely going to have to be aware of Magnus sitting in the background. He's level 17 now. That eruption is going to be massive. They've done a good job of interrupting it throughout the portion of the game. Throughout the course of the game, but if they can keep it up, they'll be in a much better position. So we see an Ice Brand picked up on the Solstice, and it seems like he's going pretty random with his item build. I don't think it synergizes as well with the Brutalizer. I would almost like to see a Portal Key on the Solstice at this point. Give himself better positioning and to kind of close the gap on these heroes that all have escape mechanisms. But, tank ability, HP stacks the barbed armor. It's better than stacking armor, so I'll give him that much. You see Thunderbringer working on a Restoration Stone for that double ultimate. Sandwraith finishing his Shrunken Head and a Sack Stone onto the Torturer. So a lot of items coming out in terms of the Legion team. Hellborn grabbed a couple of tablets, a couple of vestments, and a barrier idol of their own. A barrier idol. And a Soul's Bulwark. Gonna keep that on negative. Not the most physical presence on their team, honestly. But it's most likely gonna be used to push down towers in the later stages of the game. So with that going on, look at Solstice. Solstice is gonna go ahead and try to solo Kongor. Gonna get spotted out by that Vagabond leader. What you got is like, what you doing, man? They're doing a pretty good job now. I mean, they're staying active. Complexity's doing what they do best, though, splitting up and farming. And where's the TPs coming into the tower? They're ready to defend this. They need to be watching out. But here comes the fortification, so they force that out. And Empath already ulting into Predator, so they're committed to the team fight now. Complexity has to force this out. They get the tower deny, and let's see what Legion side. Solstice channeling an ultimate. It's gonna be fine. They back out, and you're gonna have to fall back now. Solstice kind of was. I think he was visible there. I'm pretty sure they heard him channeling it, so maybe I overboasted his ability. But he definitely has. At least he's taking the shots. USA chant going live in the chat. I want to see Complexity make it this far. I wanted to see a good game, but World Elite's definitely sticking it to him right here, making them try extra hard. I think if they came into this game with a chip on their shoulder, it was definitely removed in the first 20 minutes of this game. And they're treating this like any other regular competitive match at this point. So constant little bit tidbits of teams trying to make an effort at taking Kongor. Unfortunately, this time the counter warding has been done, and they have beautiful vision granting them the chance to steal this Kongor. And putting it onto Sandwraith is going to be devastating. He is bulking up already. I didn't think she was building an astrolabe. I'm pretty sure it was an abyssal skull, unless I said it wrong, but yeah, she did complete that abyssal skull. It's going to contribute much to the team. Ophelia has an astrolabe. Legion team getting really aggressive here. They're trying to bait out the Solstice illusion, but instead they don't take the bait. They go right for the Torturer. Hellborn's courier gets killed by Purple. I don't know if he got anything out of it. I don't think they got any wards or anything, but still, definitely annoying there. And a second time this game that Solstice has made something happen with their illusions. Oh, I apologize, man. 1 hour sleep. I've been going at this for 7.5 hours straight. I'm going to make a mistake from time to time. You can even hear my voice. I'm really losing my voice now at this point. When you don't have a co-caster, you have to jabber jaw twice as much. It's taking its toll on me. But this is too good of a series to not cast, so as much as I want to watch, we're using gaming as well, I gotta bring the BMG to D-Dog to you guys as well. I'm really hoping for a 2-0 so I can watch that match. I'm hoping for a 2-0 in this game, in this series. Looks like what you got's had enough of this counter warding going on, and he manages to pick up a bound eye and just clear out all of the vision that this Torturer has really worked so hard to put up. Midas in a bit of trouble. Can he get a bash proc off? If he had a Brutalizer, he probably could have. Unfortunately, there's a 0% proc chance when you don't have the item. Wraith still making a decent effort, and they do have only 3 minutes remaining on the token. They're gonna build a Frostwolf onto the Solstice. Interesting choice for Thunderbringer. He just built the tablet outright instead of going for the Sustainer. I feel like he should have committed to getting the refresher for the Restoration Stone, but he didn't. You can see World Elites is definitely in the position to aggress here. The time left on the token, he finished his Geometer's Bane. Unfortunately, there are no objectives but to siege the throne, or siege the base, sorry. And it's not going to be easy. Look at the scouting going out. They scout to the same spot. It's like it's one dude sharing control with all the heroes. I swear to God, that's crazy. And they are going to put Sandwraith up on the top of the hill here. Okay, so Asuka is going to complete the Coolja Sheepstick here. Lava Surge Stun coming up with a nice Pharaoh ultimate here, and they will be channeling that Solstice ultimate. This is your end. Ophelia is going to instantly disappear, as well as Empath once again before she can ult. Magma's going to sneak in the side and try to set something up as an ultimate, but here they go collapsing. They're diving a lot deeper than they need to, and making the wise decision there to turn back and just focus on the defense tower. Here comes Magma's channeling that Eruption. Lava Surge combo onto all 5 heroes. It's enough to instantly melt 3 of them, but Solstice... yeah, Solstice dies. Sandwraith's going to be returning here. He's Sheepstick, though, so he's taking a lot of extra damage. You can see the Dissipate doing a lot of damage. In fact, it's enough to kill the Midas and a quad kill from Formless, but all of the credit there has to go to Fuzzy Sloth. He positioned himself there. He basically baited this whole team into dying so that he could get that ability off. Ultimately, they protect themselves from the base being sieged. They expire the token off of Sandwraith. Sandwraith's going to buy back here, though. Where will he go? He's going to chase Predator here, and a beautiful buyback ultimate by Sandwraith here. Questionable if it was actually worth it, but we'll see if he can actually push and try to get any sort of objective off of this. Only Magnus and Empath are alive. Ophelia has just respawned, but I don't think she's going to be able to bring much to the table. Pull going out there. Was that buyback worth it for the kill on a Predator? Or is that a big time throw by Way? Probably cost him a bit of gold. He's level 25. That was like a 1600 gold. Everybody's saying it's totally worth it. Alright. There's no way. There's no way that was worth it. I'm sorry. It was exciting, but let's see. He's working his way through the jungle. He's at 525 GPM. I don't know. They are on the aggressor, and they haven't forced any buybacks out on complexity side, so it definitely puts them at a disadvantage. 2 buybacks on Formless. I'd be afraid. World Elite don't know who they're up against, that's for sure. Complexity is not going to throw this game away. Sandwraith already using that ultimate. Let's go ahead and hone on to him. See where he's going to teleport. He's going to picture onto Midas, putting the auto text, but the transmute stun is going to delay things a bit and buy time for Predator to teleport down here. You can see they didn't actually use the Lightning Storm ultimate, even though he has the Restoration Stone now. Oh man, this is such a close game. Taking a look at the GPM, you can see Sandwraith now with that ultimate on top of the Mock of Brilliance, and just catapulting himself to the top of the damage charts, while Magnus and Predator still remain the lead for their team, but 23% between the two of them doesn't even substantially come close to the effect that Sandwraith's had by himself. MRR are raffle-stomping druids. Oh my god. I was asking the big question because MMR stomped these guys so hard. Was it going to give them momentum and be a motivating factor that they just stomped the hell out of this team? Or would it hurt them that they didn't have a decent amount of competition? Ophelia's going to get initiated on here by Solstice. He channels his ult, instantly bursting him down. Torture assisting the Frostwolf Skull on Solstice, making him extremely tanky. He activates that Blade Mail, barbed armor, and the team's going to have to fall back. Now, once again, what you got going to lose is creeps. And the lane is going to be pushed here, and this is pretty bad for Complexity. They have enough gold to buy back Ophelia. I think the best use is if they force a fight and she buys back with Ophelia's touch to turn the tides of the fight. Maybe an Astrolabe. We'll have to see. Sandwraith manning up, getting himself up on the high ground, but unfortunately the creeps are nowhere near here. Looking to counter ward, but there is nothing to actually counter ward. We'll see. Solstice ult on cooldown for another 36 seconds, so the longer they delay this, the better. And Thunderbringer looking to set up a double ult here in about 50 seconds too. Fair Idol active as Sandwraith gets Sheepstick before he can activate the Shrunken Head. Unfortunately, he's going to get bursted down. That's a large portion of the damage going to be negated here. Complexity likely to come out on top of this fight as a result. Magnus going to get picked off in the background, but at what cost? Everybody else on this Legion side team is going to fall. Aside from Pharaoh, who somehow makes a stealthy getaway, and it's just the initiation onto Sandwraith was clutch. I don't understand. You have tablets of command, you have a Wrath of the Pharaoh. You could have saved the Sandwraith, and they choose not to. And it's going to buy Complexity more time. And Formless approaching that 500 GPM mark. There's not too many more items he can fit in the slot. Maybe a Satanic, or... Now, you can't get a Satanic because of attack modifier, but he could definitely buy a Heart or Rift Shards, or pretty much any type of hard carry item at this point. He's got the gold for it. The Tides of Turn, he actually has a double damage rune active as well. You're going to see this tower just evaporate. Luckily, they do have a fortification ready. That's probably going to save them a base tower, honestly. Double damage rune still here, and if I know Complexity, they're going to feel comfortable that they just defended a base siege twice in a row, and they're going to wait for Kongor before they make any type of move. Yeah. I hate saying it, but it feels so good sometimes. I don't want to feel like I'm biting off Breaky, but you want to be like, but at what cost? It's just like, it's like a Han thing. I don't know. So Midas is going to work down in the bottom lane, and Asuka seems to be the one that's having the huge impact. Without his initiation onto Sandwraith in that last fight, he was going to be dead, but here they might make him pay for it. He's going to eat that stun. He's not going to be able to portal gear. He will tablet himself and Elemental Warp into the side. Do they have anything to interrupt his TP? They don't! Oh my god, Asuka making a great escape once again. The man from down under, Asuka, seeing what he's actually capable of with a reasonable ping. The man usually playing with like a 300 MS advantage. Oh crap. So Empath now holding on to that Bound Eyes. Ophelia's picked up another... no new items. So nothing coming out here. She just traded the eye for the lulls. Ophelia once again building up a creep army. Kongor also respawning at the same time. They're gonna be spotted out by Babganoush's Ward of Sight, but can they take this quick enough? They have the vision, they have the global ults to disrupt an attempt at an initiation on them. Okay, they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna spot the gank with the Veiled Rots. They're probably feeling pretty safe right now, but they're actually far, far from it. And if they initiate onto... Oh man, Thunderbringer's not even in the area. What are you doing, World Elites? Be very careful. Games are won and lost at Kongor all the time, and usually the greedier team is the one that ends up biting the dust. At least the Veiled Rot's expired and Complexity falls back for now. And all the while, Solstice is just manning up 1 versus 1 in that Kongor, and it's actually pretty good for them. Samwraith's gonna TP top. He does have his ultimate in case he needs to return to the fight. Good job trading off that homecoming stone. But this is not a bad idea, because if they jump all in on Solstice, there's a lot of counter initiation that's gonna be coming out by this Legion team. This is almost like a chess match. They pivot left, Complexity runs right. There's so much damage coming out. If they can get their initiation off before the barrier idol from Ophelia, then Thunderbringer is really going to put a lot of damage out onto a lot of these heroes. You can see everybody has bulked up for the most part, over 2,000 HP, but it's still going to hurt them now. This Babganoush Ward of Sight, too, is doing work. Solstice has to be careful. I think he's as safe as he thinks he is. Midas doing his best to pressure out the side lanes. That is what he does, as well as Sandwraith kind of doing a very similar thing here. But at the same time, here comes the Sandwraith ultimate. Where will he go? He's going to teleport into the middle lane just to make sure he can collapse on him in the event of a team fight. Just feel like it was on cooldown for too long. The rest of the team falls back. So, if any time there was a time to run Kongor, this would be it, but they're still going to be scouting out with the Pharaoh Rockets, and World Elite's still playing this extremely well. But this is going to have to be a quick contest because Kongor's going down really fast. Here comes the double Thunderbringer ultimate. Well, they did only use one, and in the background here, Sandwraith's going to pick off Ophelia. She gets the barrier idol off here. Solstice is going to get his ultimate off. Unfortunately, Predator had Stonehide activated, but these barbed armors, Predator is going to fall here. He has the token, but they did work. Now here comes a stun on a Predator. Thunderbringer's trying to do what he can in the meantime, but they are focusing that Solstice. Sheepstick coming out on a Sandwraith. They turn. A Torture gets a decent stun off to buy time for Sandwraith to get up the hill. Can he set something up? No, the Brutalizer proc is going to be too much. Sandwraith won't. He could buy back here because he has his ultimate up in 9 seconds, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make that decision. There were buybacks used by both Ophelia there, and that was it. Just Ophelia, actually. So, questionable, ultimately, who came out on top of that team fight. Hellborn team getting the Kongor kills pretty big, but losing the token immediately, and that definitely would have been a fight. Legion would have won that fight if not for the token on Predator, basically. Oh my god, Solstice is going to get initiated on here. He's going to take the full CC cooldown on Midas. You're not going to get away this time. Unfortunately, Oscar will fall here. Sandwraith using his ultimate to initiate into this team fight. He's not going to be able to pursue the Predator. Okay, so Predator did pick up the heart. Are you sure? Okay, maybe he did buy back earlier. I believe you. Man, my mouse is goofing up right now. By the way, thanks for the follow, guys. I really appreciate it here. And that being said, hope you are enjoying the cast here. It's been a blast all day today, and we still have a lot more games coming up after this. I feel like obligated to thank you guys. I'm having a good time here. And it's a little bit of pause in between the fights here. But other than that, any more updates on the Druids versus MRR matchup are always welcomed. Getting down to the nitty gritty here, but Predator is at a point where he has not been, hasn't been focused in the last few fights, and now he's really insane. A Savage Mace, a Heart, the Brutalizer, the Frostburn, the Insanitarius. It's rare that you see those types of items on another hero because you usually have to have some sort of defensive item, but Predator with that built-in stone hide, he's insane. Not to mention, Carnivorous is eating at 7% of the target's current health for damage, and on top of the burst damage. Okay, here comes the Lava Surge Sun on a Solstice. They sheep Thunderbringer in the background. They instantly burst down Thunderbringer before he can do anything. This was a good choice of a target for them. Torturer gonna get the Brutalizer procs are going insane for Predator. Everything is just going to shit for World Elite as Predator is one-shotting everybody on this team. And Complexity Gaming looking very strong at this point. Seemingly out of nowhere, they just turned up the last 4 team fights. It just, World Elite was unable to siege the base properly. They seems like they forced it too much. They fed up the Predator, and now he's at a point where he can't be stopped. This Solstice ult being channeled is really just going to be tickling this team. You see the North's Blessing followed up by the Barrier Idol and the Astrolabe. It's basically what it is. It's tickling them. It's not going to really put any sort of damage on. Solstice going to charge in onto the Midas, though, but he's got an Elemental Warp, he's got a Sheep Stick, he's got a Tab, he's got plenty of outs. They're going to fall back, feeling comfortable enough to fall back, and did they force a buyback onto Thunderbringer? Yes, they did. Okay, what's going on here? Anybody going to collapse onto anybody? Doesn't look like it. I don't know. I was told that I don't need to cast with the delay here because, yeah, it's a LAN event. I mean, it would be kind of obvious, and it would be hard to go. Okay, Solstice, once again, you're just way out of position. World Elite's completely throwing away this game here. It's getting grimmer and grimmer, honestly, and I don't know how they would actually deal with the Predator, aside from itemizing with sheep sticks and stuff like that. Much how the way that Sandwraith was dealt with. But again, the Genjuro, not really going to bring hardly anything to the table in this matchup, so I think this is going to be a Rax here. Sandwraith's going to do his best to backdoor. Yeah, he's definitely going to look to trade this, and he's going to go pushing the mid lane, but at the same time, Legion side's got a little bit of their own trick up their sleeve. They're going to be just manhandling the bottom racks. Sandwraith ult coming in here. Can they collapse onto the Predator? There's a nice bit of damage coming out. Sandwraith, where are you? He stayed on enemy side. He's forcing out TP's back by Complexity, so they're actually concerned that he's about to take another set of barracks here. The Sheep Stick coming out by Magnus. There's just so much gold on this team. Sandwraith. Yeah, Sandwraith trying to man up there with the Genjuro. Fuzzy taking a gamble. Unfortunately, does not hit. And Sandwraith's going to get away. And he takes 2 sets of barracks himself. And they only lose 1, so... yeah, World Elite taking a page out of Reason Gaming's playbook there. You're losing the game 14,000 gold down. What do? You just go for the backdoor strategy. Meander so bad, watch your mouth. These are competitors. They come all the way from China. Okay, they come to show their support for Here's a New Earth. They did throw away such a good lead, but you gotta understand, sieging is not easy in this game. You have to deal with the Magnus, the Sheep Sticks, and the Ophelia. So it's, I don't know. I mean, did they need to wait a little bit longer? They'd be in the situation they're in now. So this Predator, though, I don't know what they're gonna do. The barbed armors aren't really gonna do much anymore. Now that he has the heart and the demonic, not the demonic, the symbol of rage. Yeah, well, obviously there's no backdooring at all, and there has never been a rule, but that's just what it's called. When you siege the base, you sneaking in style, all sneaky beaky like. Yeah, Stanley freaking picks up a basher. That's great. It's gonna puncture through the shrunken heads and the stone hide. Maybe he'll be able to go toe to toe with this Predator. What I really think he needed to do is get some type of attack modifier of his own, though. Like a shield breaker wouldn't be bad. Something like that nature, because right now he doesn't have anything. It's just a missing item slot. So Predator picking up post haste, and he's at that point where he's pretty much maxed out on items. There's really nothing else. You could turn that into a Dawnbringer, but the buyback gold is probably worth more at this point. Okay, here comes an initiation from Pharaoh onto Empath. They burst her down before she can get anything off, and the rest of the team's forced to run. Now Ophelia activating that blade barrier idle. The item's just not used enough. Predator's going to turn on the Sandwraith. The Sandwraith ultimate comes off, or the Sil's ultimate comes off, but it's just a little bit too late. Now Predator's going to get pulled back a little bit, and he's going to burst down Thunderbringer. Here comes the Magnus ultimate. Lava Surge Eruption doing serious damage. Pharaoh activating his Barb, but it's too late. They know to church the focus. Magnus, will you make it out alive? Fuzzy Sloth using Steam Bath to disjoint there. And the Solstice is able to go pretty much toe-to-toe with Predator, but ultimately he's going to fall. Wrath of the Pharaoh activated onto Predator. Predator's turning on there. Wow, this game is close, man. That team fight could have gone either way, but once again, they do come out on top. Nice copy Pastorino Goblin Sturm. It needs more. It's not erotic enough for me, though. I disagree completely. Yeah, Savage Mace is good, but he's got 50% damage reduction. You take that down to 6. It depends. That's all your damage is going to be piercing 25% more damage. There's very few items that could offer that. Not to mention if they had a Bulwark as well, take that down. 50% damage, yeah. I mean, even an attack matter like a Frostwolf Skull, it slows down Predator's attack speed, which means less life steal, less bash procs, everything like that. Not to say 5,800 gold slots long time. Here gives the double ult from Thunderbringer and Sandwraith putting out the Desert's Curse. But once again, the Ophelia Barrier idle. Here comes the Sandwraith ultimate. Will he decide to go on somebody here? He's definitely not going to be diving into the well, but he will chase on to Predator. Solstice going to focus onto the Predator, activating the Shrunken Head, but no! He did not commit to the fight, and now they wasted a lot of cooldowns for nothing. Their base is actually getting wrecked at bottom lane. So it makes sense that Empath had a TP home and addressed that issue. Looks like Asuka used a buyback here at one point in the past few minutes. This game is kind of just throwing me off a bit. I feel like the game should have been over for some time now, but neither team really giving up. Top barracks exposed. It's pretty close. I mean, Torturer now finding the gold to get an Icon of the Goddess at level 20. She's going to be putting out some serious damage. It's like Predator's doing all the work and damage, and these rest of the guys just got CC coverage, so that's working flawlessly for them. Solstice gonna get caught out for like the 5th time this game. Very unfortunate for the Legion side, but will they take Kongor? They're gonna try, that's for sure. Hellfire very good at helping assist Kongor. He's not gonna slow them down with any type of stuns, but Legion team's going to have to back up at one point. Unless they get some kind of base race going. I mean, both teams, it's just all who can put out more damage. And I think Complexity would win in a base race. Here comes the initiation on to Sandwraith. Sandwraith, once again, you have the token. You complete through it. Magnus channeling that eruption. Lava Surge is going to collect onto Sandwraith. They instantly sheep him once again before he can get anything off. The Dissipate's doing a ton of damage. Complexity losing 2 or 3 heroes in the process here. Once another one falls. So Midas has to run as well. Predator, what happened? He bought back. And he's going to have Empath in him. He has his post-haste off a cooldown. He's going to TP up to the top lane here. But Legion team don't care. They're going to base race, I think. No, they spotted out the Predator, so they were racing in mid, but as soon as they saw that buyback, they're going to have to fall back. Oh my god, this game's going crazy back and forth. Magnus is now going to pick up the post-haste. Too many damn heroes with the same typing sounding names. Oh, here comes an ultimate onto Predator by Solstice, but he's going to get Sheepstick. There's too many Sheeps coming out. Both heroes completely disabled. Thunderbringer running up and running in circles. He doesn't really know what to do. Pharaoh's going to catch Predator in the mummy walls, but nobody really able to do damage to him in the area. Okay, here goes the Solstice stun on a Predator. Complexity, if they lose Predator here, they will be in a very bad spot. He eventually will fall. Now, Midas is going to retreat in the background, and Magnus is the last man standing, forced to activate his Shrunken and fall back. Formless does not... Okay, he never bought back. He got sent home by Ophelia. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, he didn't use his buyback, so they're in a much more comfortable position than I thought. Damn it, that means this game is nowhere near over. It's still going. This is the game that never ends. Okay, here goes Sandwraith Ultimate. He is going to capture Empath here, and they get a pick off, and there's a Bound Eye willing to be destroyed if they desire. There's not many other people in the area, though. I'm surprised Sandwraith isn't pressuring this range barracks. I guess he's afraid to get locked down with the Sheepstick. If he dies, then that's the game. Here comes Magnus. He's going to blink TP Sheep. Blink Tablet Sheep. That is very, very scary. This game is crazy! Ah, frickin' son of a gun. I need a cigarette break, man. This game's too intense. So, this is definitely the longest game at Dreamhack thus far. 65 minutes in, the gold lead's still in favor of the Hellborn team, but really it's the heroes that Legion side picked. Wow, he just sold... Did he sell his Icon of the Goddess to buy that Sheepstick? And Pharaoh's building a Sheepstick too. I mean, the plate mail is just picked up for no reason, really. He could just sell that. I feel like that very rarely pays off, but in this sense, I mean, the Icon of the Goddess isn't doing nothing. It's not like Torture is sitting in there with his ultimate taking damage off and he's surviving in fights. No, he's instantly getting melted. So, at least in this sense, if Pharaoh gets the jump, then you got a follow-up stun and Sheep coming out by Torturer. It's basically the all-in strategy. Solstice saving for buyback, Thunderbringer saving for buyback. Thunderbringer's impact in this game's kind of fallen off a bit, due to the fact that Ophelia's pretty much just heals back. Whenever Thunderbringer ults, Ophelia's just gonna pop that barrier idol and heal, and it's like he did nothing. And then he's running around with a chicken, like a chicken with his head cut off for the rest of the fight. Well, I don't know, Honcast stream's going down. I'm sure they're gonna have that back up for you in just a minute, but everybody who's stopping by, welcome. You came at a crazy time. I mean, both teams pretty much have one set of racks left. Given that the Merrick Barracks, but Complexity definitely trying to put the nail in the coffin here. Kongor's been slain. I don't know where the bananas went. I don't know if they're still on the ground over there. Okay, the bananas are still on the ground. Oh my god, but the fight's breaking out here. Predator's going to get ulted down here by Pharaoh. He's going to take a lot of damage. Magnus coming in with the stun. Lava Surge, he's channeling the Eruption, but here comes Solstice in the background. The Eruption's coming out, but everybody's got their Shrunken Heads activated. Not the most impact coming out here. Magnus going to try to Steam Bath away at the same time. Sandwraith will fall. This is not good. Torturer getting health flowered. He cannot activate any of his spells. And the melee barracks is going to fall. How did you leave the bananas? How did you leave the bananas there? What is wrong with you? Legion team that could have won you the game. Instead, Complexity is going to come out on top of the team fight, take the top barracks down, and that is mega creeps. If Legion team tries to defend this, then Godspeed to you. But somebody, for God's sake, pick up the bananas. Hellborn team eventually going to fall back here. Um, Legion team's doing enough to scare him off, but here comes a double sheepstick wombo combo. Torture's going to get locked down here. Bursted. Can't do anything about it. Thunderbringer throwing out that chain lightning as if it was actually going to do something. Here comes Solstice turning onto the Midas. He's going to take a lot of damage here, but this is just an act of desperation. Solstice, he's going to die. He'll likely buy back here as it is the end of the game. He is bought back. Pharaoh got a nice mummy wall off. But you can see Predator at this point, his health is not even budging. It activated that symbol of rage. Look at these damage procs. Look at this. What are you going to do, Solstice? You can't touch a Predator at this point in the game. Hat trick for Formless. Legion completely wiped out. One more buyback on Thunderbringer, but here he goes. It's all on you, man. If only Thor could actually utilize that hammer. The damage is completely out of control. Sandwraith's going to respawn here. Activate his ultimate. World Elite is not giving up. He activating the Shrunken Head, but the damage from Predator is ridiculous. You cannot stop him. He's unstoppable with an empath inside of him, too. That Void Talisman, though. 30,000 gold lead, but you could have fooled me. That was a very close back and forth game, and complexity ultimately comes through at the end of the day. Well, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'm glad Honcast is back up if you want to catch that matchup. Everybody else, Game 2 will be starting here in just a few minutes, so I'm going to catch a quick break. I need a damn cigarette after that son of a gun fight. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Going to cut to a break and cover Game 2 coming up very soon. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks for hanging out.